Thank you, Chair. I'm Jennifer Malonzo of IBON International, speaking on behalf of the CSO-FFD mechanism. We welcome references in the elements paper which we'd like to see in the final outcome about setting concrete and binding timeframes on existing ODA targets, about country programmable aid and increased use of budget support, long-standing commitments on ODA quantity, quality, and impact repeated over the years could be the building blocks of more ambition at FFD4 through a binding convention on international development cooperation that establishes obligations instead of voluntary promises. We strongly endorse Zambia's proposal to agree on a convention on international development cooperation, including a mechanism to fulfill aid debt. We also welcome the call of G77 and China for a transparent and inclusive process under the UN to agree on an understanding of parameters and objectives of ODA flows. FFD4 should agree on broadening the normative role of UN in development cooperation through a convention. We are encouraged by the inclusion of a section on reforming the architecture in the 11th paper, but the proposals do not match the heading's ambition and merely reiterate the undemocratic, updated status quo. The development cooperation architecture urgently needs fundamental changes to democratize governance and ensure transparent, accountable, and inclusive decision-making. At present, its governance, whether north-south, south-south, or triangular, is needlessly fragmented and should be reimagined. The question of governance is also relevant to MDB reform. The proposals in the elements paper on MDBs fall short on this. We endorse the call of member states like the G77 and China and Brazil for a review and reform of MDBs. We call on the UN to establish an intergovernmental process on MDBs as a more democratic space to discuss MDB governance reforms, the mandate of the institutions, and accountability towards an overhaul of the international public finance architecture. The FFD process is not a place to endorse decisions taken by a selective and self-appointed group of countries like the G20. Moreover, country democratic ownership must be upheld. We emphasize that southern countries should lead their development and financing strategies, not just their development cooperation plans. The UN has a role to play in revitalizing the effectiveness agenda and universalizing